Hey guys, before we get to the review, I just wanted to drop a quick spoiler warning because I will be talking about the game in detail and a bit about the story. Not the entire story, mind you, just a great bit deal of it. If you were still on the fence on whether or not to get this game and don't want to be spoiled about it, I'm going to let you know that this game is below average. If you're still wanting to get this, I would definitely wait for a price drop. Even if you're a huge fan of Saints Row, right now in its state, it's definitely not worth the full price. I've encountered way too many bugs even after the day one patch. I actually had like 2 bugs I needed to restart for, so definitely wait until they fix that at the very least. I'll also say that the story is not that great. It's very basic, and towards the end, I just really didn't care. But if you already played the game and or don't care about spoilers and want to know why I think that, well, let's start the video. So the new Saints Row finally came out, about 10 years after Saints Row 4. Definitely took its time, huh? The Saints Row is a reboot of the series, starting fresh and shows a new beginning of the 3rd Street Saints, if they're still called that. Maybe they're just called the Saints now. And while also, and I quote, focusing on gang war and less wacky. The tone is not something we feel like doing today. It's so far beyond the realms of reality, where do you possibly go from there? So, you gotta go back to your roots. The only place to go when you've gone that far is to pull back in. While also removing the more, well, let's just say the more mature parts of those games. Now, if you ask me, Saints Row, while I don't think it was over the top in the beginning, I've never played Saints Row 1, but Saints Row 2 was definitely more down to earth. Although you had a guy who used voodoo magic and couldn't die until his head was chopped off, but comparing Saints Row 2 to 4, yeah, 2 is definitely more realistic comparatively. But I would say the over-the-topness is what made the games great. And even Saints Row 2 had like over-the-top moments. And the mature content? Yeah, that's a thing in the game that shouldn't have just been removed, but let's be honest, who actually used that dildo bat? Developed by Volition, who did make the previous Saints games and that spin-off that no one apparently liked. And published by Deep Silver, Volition's parent company, who also published games such as the Metro series, the Dead Island games, which I didn't like, the Stalker games, which I've never played, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which was terrible, and the best game of 2013, Ride to Hell Retribution. Ah! Yeah, so it's clear that Deep Silver doesn't really consider the games they publish, and unfortunately Saints Row 2022 is average at best. I mean, below average at its current state. Let's talk about it. So the game starts with the Saints having a party when this guy shows up. Don't bother remembering him. I don't even think he shows up after this, honestly. With a bunch of money in a suitcase, asking to talk to us. Which leads us to the character creation. And honestly, it's probably the second best, if not the best customization out of the Saints game. You can now have prosthetics, which is really cool. Kinda wish there was pincher claws, because then I would have made Krugel Del Flame, but instead I went with this guy. To critique this game though, the new Modesty options kind of suck. What's the point in having the emojis covering it when there isn't even an option like in Cyberpunk? Although that was pointless too, but my point being, why not just keep the pixelization? It doesn't even look like it's covering anything up, to be honest. And sometimes the emoji shrinks, leaving a lot to be desired, and the option to force underwear kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? And the personality choices are the worst that they have ever been, in my opinion. Not a whole lot of emote options to choose from. Also, I found out while writing this review that you can purchase more emotes in the game, but they never tell you that in-game, so they're basically hiding about 30 emotes from you. After creating our character, we have a portrait video shot of us enjoying the party before revealing that we're dead and buried. Well, that was a short game. No, actually, the game truly starts a few months earlier, where we're working for Marshall, the law enforcement of this game, you know, like Ultar or Stag. Remember, they wanted to make this game more grounded in reality. Your first day on the job has you going after the Wally, a finely dressed man who is wanted for some reason. I figured it involved a lot of murder, but still, a little info about this guy would have been nice. Like, why the hell is he in this location? Where the hell is this? I figured it was like a movie studio set or something, unless there's just a random Old West town in this city. Combat and movement in this game is alright. It's similar to the other games in all honesty. Except now you have takedowns, which slowly fill up to 100% and let you instantly take down an enemy and regain a little bit of your health. This is the only reasonable way to recover health in combat, by the way. Except maybe like a perk you get when you level up. But like most perks in this game, it's completely useless. But what sucks the most about this is that you only get one takedown. There's no way to get more takedowns saved up, so you only get to heal 1 bar of health per takedown, and then you have to wait. But later in the game, most of the time you'll lose what health you gain back because you can still get shot in the middle of it. Unless that's a bug, there's a ton of bugs in this game. But even if the enemy you're doing the takedown to dies before you finish, you don't get the health. Oh, but they'll take the takedown away from you, but they won't give you any health for it. This quickly makes combat not as enjoyable, and there's no go into cover mechanic at all, and crouching most of the time doesn't really help. One thing that is hilarious is that you can taunt in the middle of takedowns or conversations, and it looks like I'm putting more actions into my words a bit.
Buddy! Shit. Either they're all dead or there's no signal. Reckon I should push it.
Whether or not this was a bug or something that they intended to put in the game, I can't really tell. But it is fun.
Hey, where you fucking going?
Stop him.
I said you're coming with me.
Perhaps
Stop him. Shoot him in the legs, idiot.
Then respect this. You said 1 foot on the... Holy shit.
God, you dumbass. When somebody throws a knife at you, you don't go, huh, neat.
What? I can't find him.
Never mind. Get back here and regroup. We've got the bastard bottled up with nowhere to...
You lost him? How the hell did you lose him? There's only 2 stories and this place is surrounded. There's literally only one place to go, except this employee-only room right here. Did he seriously hide in there?
You're kind of an idiot, aren't you?
Yeah, your main character is kind of stupid in this game. More stupid than your main guys in the other Saints Row's game, and his actions are kind of questionable. And the game never really brings it up or makes them learn anything. Oh yeah, I remember this in Saints Row 2. This game is just so much more grounded into reality. Alright, to be fair, they probably meant more grounded in reality in terms of not having aliens blow up the Earth and having a grand space adventure about it. But they also wanted more gang warfare type stuff. And honestly, this feels like Saints Row 3, but worse. But now that that job's done, we can put on our civilian clothes. One of the things I've always found hilarious is that in Saints Row, no matter what you wear, it always shows up in the cutscenes. So, this is my outfit. And it only gets dumber from here. It's honestly hilarious when he shows up in the cutscenes like this. Although I think I ruined this scene here with Nina when she was having a moment.
I drove that car all the way here from Guadalajara. My family's so far away, you know? It felt like I was keeping part of them with me.
The dialogue is kind of stilted as all hell, and in the beginning they just keep talking about student loans and rent, I guess to be hip with the crowd.
I can tell you love it.
Okay. I don't have to love it. I have to pay my student loans.
Poof, amen.
But it's immediately dropped when you become a gang. Unless they did talk about it afterwards, but I made several $1 million throughout the entire game, and we never go back to that apartment, so the student loans had to have been paid off, right? This game takes a bold move, unlike the last games where they had 3 starting members where I only cared about one of them. And in this one, there's 3 starting gang members where I only care about one of them. You have Kevin. He's a DJ for the Idols, a gang of anarchists, and his personality is he apparently dates a lot and doesn't have a shirt.
No, seriously, this is perfect. The only way this could be better is if you put on a fucking shirt.
Dinner and a show, baby.
Oh, please.
He also cooks, but I question his cutting skills.
Keep it up. It's okay. Mama will help you.
But with me not wearing pants and him not wearing a shirt, we become the dynamic duo known as Shirts and Pants. And then there's Eli. I've never cared about Eli in the slightest. He's an investor and I quote-unquote brains of the operation, but again, I never really cared about him. And then there's Nina, the only one of the 3 that I've actually liked. She is the mechanic slash driver slash art person. She's also a member of the Los Panteros, the other gang in the game. There's really no difference between the 2 gangs, and there's only 2 gangs. And no, I don't count the Marshals as a gang. That's a big step down from the previous Saints Row games, you know, where they had actual 3 gangs. Except in Saints Row the 3rd, they were all basically the same. And I don't remember there being gangs in the 4th one. But they wanted to focus on gang warfare in this game. They should have had like 4 or 5 other games that had like this big open map where you actually get to take territory and stuff. But I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, your next mission with Marshall leads you to getting artifacts from Los Panteros, which leads us to getting a promotion from Doug Dimmadome over here as his head of security.
Hello, son! Timmy Turner, my name is Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Thank you for locating my long-lost son, Dale Dimmadome, heir to the Dimsdale Dimmadome fortune. If there's anything I can ever do to repay you for your kindness, all you need to do is ask.
I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen. So, during the art show, the idols and Panteros attack because they want the Codex.
The Codex of Ultimate Wisdom?
No, not that Codex. What they want is called a Hummingbird Codex. What is a Hummingbird Codex, you may ask? I don't know. Looking it up, the only thing it brings up is the Aztec god of sun and war. And no, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. But he's often depicted as either a hummingbird or an eagle. Now, is that what this codex is about? I have no fucking clue, because this game doesn't talk about it, doesn't explain why it's the most important piece of art that they have, or why it's significant, or why people want to steal it. And they do. The idols take the codex and you get fired for it.
Damn mess.
I don't understand.
Well, you were wasting time with her. The idol stole the codex and replaced it with a fake.
Sir, I wasn't wasting time. I was saving...
Not right!
And I told a bit of a lie earlier. You know that guy you saw at the beginning? Well, here he is. He owns the museum. That's it. I swear he never shows up afterwards. And so we have post-fired from our job depression. And you can tell it's a bad time because I'm wearing pants. And the objectives here? They're pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. When the game has a funny joke, it's actually funny, or at least it got a chuckle out of me. But this is where the Saints are born, with Nina and Kevin leaving their respective gangs to join. And that's the start of the story. To be honest, it's not that great. It's not even average, to be honest. You don't really learn anything about the rival gangs like the previous games. We don't know anything about the idols except that there's 6 of them, but that's it. We don't know their names or anything that distinguishes them from the others. I've killed 4 of them and I can't tell you which ones. We know even less about Los Panteros, except they have monster trucks and Sergio here is kind of a dick, but we don't really interact with him. And, spoiler alerts, he's killed off, not even by you and in a cutscene. But the gang still lives on after him, leaving no real impact. Remember in Saints Row 2 when you actually defeated a gang and killed their leader that they just disappear from the game? Hell, I know more about those guys than I do about these guys. And what little story there is, I think they drop more things than they resolve in this. The Codex? Well, they never really bring it up again except one level, but even then, there's no significance to the overall story. Why the hell was it brought up to be so important? And yeah, I think it was brought up to be important because there's an escort mission for it. This guy? No real significance despite showing up in the beginning. Hell, he doesn't even show up when the story comes back to that point, I don't think. They said they wanted more gang warfare type stuff, yet that's completely absent from this game as well. There's no gang hideouts, there's no gang takeovers, there's no street wars. The only bit of gang on gang warfare is when we get 5 side missions in each district, but there's nothing special. You just kill like 6 guys, or their cars, or a cop van. It never feels like I'm a big gang taking over stuff. You don't even get like new gang members later down the line except like this nameless grunts. Oh, and the Nawali, you break him out of prison for some dumb reason.
I'm in.
Need to remember to stealth. Keep moving, and don't let any guards get a good look at your face.
Alright, I just gotta sneak in and blend in.
Hey, I don't recognize you.
Yeah, this is my first night shift.
Keep moving. Don't give them time.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Hey,
John Ralphio?
We haven't had a shift together in ages. Have to catch up after.
Intruder alert! Delta Protocol!
The only mission I kinda liked was the LARPing side quests, which was fun and I wish they did more of it. But hey, remember Gwen, our boss from the beginning? Well, she shows up here, and only in the last part of this quest. And she never shows up again, but hey, it gave me a crown which completed my look. And look at that. That's a gang leader. And when I got the venue Cutting Edge, which by the way cost $400,000 and was only available near the end of the game, I was able to further complete it with different materials. Old side jobs like insurance fraud comes back too. Yep, this is definitely more grounded in reality. And now let's talk about the bugs. There were so many bugs throughout my playthrough, and parts where I don't know for sure if they were bugs, but other times I know they weren't. It was just the game not letting me do something. Like one of the side missions where you have to steal these food trucks. There's apparently only 5 drug-pushing food trucks throughout this entire city, 5 individual gangs having 1 truck by the way, and no, we never find out who owns what besides like maybe a name drop or 2. But I figured, hey, get a helicopter, use the magnets to grab and move them to where you have to take them. Sounds like an easy way of doing things, right? Wrong, because the game doesn't accept that as complete. Oh, they'll let you take the truck. You can't do anything about it though. You're gonna have to fly all the way back and do the mission properly. And there were tow trucking missions where that could have worked, but no, you need a car with the towing ability to do that. Even though you can still pick them up with the helicopter, like for example, we have to tow a tank. I grabbed it with the helicopter and look at this shit, I can't fly at all. The helicopter keeps swinging left and right. I can't fly forward at all. I mean, it got to a point where I didn't even move and it was just flying around. What the hell? There's no one in this tank. You're required to drive up with a car and tow it all the way through this fucking desert. There were bugs that required me to have to close the game and reset. There was this one bug where I tried to get into this military vehicle where it clearly hinted for me to go onto. But going in, you basically T-pose standing through the truck. I can't move, I can't drive, I can't shoot at all while these helicopters keep shooting at me. And I bet you noticed the Destroy Pantero's vehicle objective marker. Yeah, apparently I had to do that for several missions as that objective never cleared. The objective would never tell me what to actually do because it would always tell me to destroy some vehicles. And or how about never showing up at all? Sometimes the objectives never really appeared. There was a dialogue bug where this guy repeated what he said.
Fuck you, Saint. Fuck you, Saint.
One bug that switched all of my personality emotes and voice back to default, which happened more than once. And I don't really understand this. I'm running around with a revolver. The weapon selection in this is pretty meh in my opinion. But the cutscenes always show me with the beginning default pistol. All the Saints Row games are guilty of this. In fact, I think a lot of games are actually guilty of this. How come my custom character can show up, but not the guns? The driving is terrible. The physics is weird. The missions you have to pull something and not let it get damaged. Well, good luck because they cause cars to explode almost immediately and it'll take explosion damage. And also, every time you pause, you have this terrifying guy pop up at you. There are things that are good with this game and I will praise it for, like the character customization. There's a community tab where you can actually download and use the creations. And they're really good. You got like John Wick, Big Smoke, Shaggy,
Eustace Bang!
The Rock, The Undertaker, and Charlie.
But yeah, anyway, that's about it. See ya.
I'm gonna stop talking about the story and the game about right there so I don't spoil the rest for you guys. This game should have been good. It had every opportunity to be good, but it failed every time. They keep bringing up family themes, but they never really let you get to know these characters. I know more about Johnny Gat in Saints Row 2 than I know about any of the other 3 members we get here. I get what they were trying for, but in the end, I think it just kind of turned out to be a more hollowed out version of Saints Row 3. Which, in my opinion, is the worst one out of the 4 games. Probably. Again, I never played Saints Row 1. Towards the end, I started to not care about it at all and just wanted it to be over. If I want to play a Saints Row game again, I'm probably going to play one of the other ones. But overall, this game is harmless. I definitely wouldn't recommend this game, but if you're a huge Saints Row fan and want to get this, definitely wait for a price drop. Like $40, even less would be better. But hey, let me know what you guys think down in the comments about this game and what you want from the next Saints Rows. I, for one, think if they're going to continue this version, they're going to need to make the writing better. More gang warfare mechanics like they wanted to in the first place, a bigger map, and maybe some better music like GTA. I didn't know a single track besides like maybe 2. Oh, and choices. There was like 1 choice in this entire game, and I don't even know if there was any significance to it at all. I miss when you had choices to make in Saints Row 3 and 4. I'll see you guys on my next review. Until then, take care.
Where the fuck is Kevin?